Yeah, we bring reviews of your house, talk to our dudes of your house. I bring my views of your house, wrestling truths of your house. We talk to you in your house, we keeps it cool in your house, we keeps it cool in your house. I'm spitting truths in your house. Yes, Mark's hating on his fans, Becky's niche on the man. Play with two like alliance, household a dangerous alliance. I am an diamond like Cody, and I'm overcoming like Kobe. No, they cannot hold me. Come listen, I'm hosting, critiquing, I'm boasting. This wrestling I'm knowing.
Fuck this shit! It's all about podcasts these days.
This is Leo Rush, the NXT Cruiserweight Champion, and you are listening to the In Your House Podcast.
This is Austin Theory of Evolve, and you're listening to the In Your House Podcast.
This is AEW's Darby Allin, and you're listening to In Your House Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to In Your House, starring Alakan House and my man, Michael Hutchison. That's Mikey Hutch. This is the People's Podcast. Hey guys, you already know who it is. It's your boy Con and Hutch, ready to get it at work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. That is what we do, and hey, we love it. So let me let you guys know where you guys can listen to this at. You guys can listen to this at Apple Podcast, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Himalaya. Hey, you don't have an Apple device? That's alright. We're on Google Play. Anywhere that you guys are, we can get to you. And ooh, where is the clock? I'm checking the time because last time that I checked, In Your House was the hottest professional wrestling podcast in the Midwest, because we hit them with that work. Round the clock. You guys already know what it is. Oh yes, the director is in the building. Me and Hutch about to kill him. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just, same thing I was doing last time. Hanging out at home. Taking up space. Doing what I've trained my whole life to do.
Oh, man.
It's saving the world, not spreading any, potential cooties or anything.
Of course.
But yeah, I'm doing all right, man. Just, holding up one day at a time. I miss wrestling, bro.
Man, for sure. Yeah. Going out and going to wrestling shows and whatnot.
Like, I know that's what we're sitting here talking about, but that's exactly what I miss. I miss, like, the live crowds, the pops, I miss my wrestling homies, man. If any of y'all are out there listening right now, man, I fucking miss you guys.
Yeah.
I miss you guys, love you guys. Looking forward to seeing you all soon. But in the meantime, yeah, doing great.
Good, man, good. I've been doing the same, man, just staying in here, working on podcasts, working on editing, working on some music and stuff like that, and taking this week off to enjoy the family and catch up on some personal work that I wanted to do as far as music and everything. It's been great, but now we're here to do WrestleMania Night 2. We wanted to talk about that, and guys, I just want to throw out there, we've got a lot of cool stuff coming to you guys here at In Your House. Of course, the mental match card is going to be coming back. The Getting Over game, we still want to do that, and what we really want to do is, and I'm not going to get too much into this, but I just want to highlight it a little bit. We have so much great crew members here at In Your House that you guys have heard from time to time, and we really want to highlight them, because the whole thing with In Your House is we're a collective, we're a group, and the way I see it is we're like the wrestling version of like like In Living Color or All That or something like that. A cast of characters. We all have a good time and we all enjoy wrestling, and that's what we have in common. So we really want to throw something out there and really highlight our other crew members. And one of them that we brought in here that we've been highlighting, and he was really the mind behind the mental match card, and he's gonna come on and he's gonna be talking WrestleMania Night 2 with us, you guys, and he's here in the building right now, and that's Docs. How's it going, bro?
If I ever answer that with anything other than dead inside, then shoot me, because I've been replaced by a clone.
Well, if they did that, then you'd really be dead, wouldn't you?
Dead twice over, man. Just like I felt after, never mind, I don't need to talk about my marriage.
This fool, man. Oh, man. Are you ready to talk a little WrestleMania Night 2, bro?
Oh, yeah, I'm absolutely ready to talk a little WrestleMania Night 2.
Oh, yep, that's what we're going to do. And, guys, we're recording this on a Friday, and that's exactly where we're going to drop it, Friday afternoon. We're not waiting. We're just going to drop it, and we're going to have a few episodes for you guys next week. A couple things we want to discuss. AEW happened, and man, it was another good episode. But it's crazy. NXT actually won the war for once, but not really by much. But going back to what I was saying is that we want to highlight some of our other cast of characters here on In Your House. And with that being said, it's time for me to bring in my man, reporter Drake Kennedy, here to talk about WrestleMania Night 2. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing really good, man. I'm excited to hang out with y'all on a Friday night and talk about some wrestling, damn it.
Absolutely. That's what we do, man. That's what we do here at In Your House. So we're going to kind of dove right into it. As you guys know, we're going to do the same format that we've been doing. I'm going to kind of present the match. I'm going to ask everybody their opinion depending on said match, if it's worthy of everybody's opinion. And guys, that's not to say that everybody's opinion here on this WrestleMania Roundtable Night 2 isn't important. It's just some of these matches don't need that type of oxygen. And let me prefix it with this: that is not to say that all these men and women that went out and worked at this event did not go out and bust their ass and give the best possible product that they possibly can. But hey, we're fans here at In Your House, and it's subjective to everybody, and some things hit and some things miss. That's not for lack of effort. That's just how it goes. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. And this is WrestleMania Night 2, the WrestleMania Roundtable here at In Your House. And the first match that I want to talk about, guys, is the NXT Women's Championship. That's Charlotte Flair going up against Rhea Ripley, which saw Charlotte defeating Rhea Ripley in her awesome Vegeta-inspired gear. And now Super Charlotte is once again NXT champion. For me personally, man, the match was good. Head scratcher, man. I mean, I wouldn't say head scratcher, but with the whole thing about Charlotte winning every championship, I think some people were just tired of it. I don't know. Maybe this is maybe it's not about Charlotte losing the champion or winning the championship. It's about Charlotte losing the championship and maybe creating another star that way. But man, as far as the actual match itself goes, I'm not sure how satisfied I was with the finish. But I'm gonna throw it over to Hutch, man. What was you thinking about Rhea Ripley going up against Charlotte?
Oh, first off, I got to say that I was not a fan of Rhea's ring attire. That did not work for me at all.
Wasn't digging it?
Nah, man. I mean, she come out, she's been like this punk rocker chick this whole time, right? I mean, at least as far as I know. I think when she came in, she wasn't, but I don't know. But anyway, anytime I've seen her, she's always rocking the all black, and that's her look. It was a very stark contrast, but it's something that she did back in the end, and back when she was in the Indies, I guess. I don't know. So, I mean, at least she's consistent. The match itself was fine. Even though if you were to step away from the TV and just listen to what was going on, it sounded like you were looking at some HLA on Pornhub. But I digress. It was a good match, and I think they put the belt on Charlotte, kind of like you said, to make somebody else, and that somebody else, I'm not sure if you guys heard the results of the women's ladder match they had on NXT.
Yeah.
But Io Shirai won.
Yes,
and I'll take a match between Io Shirai and Charlotte. I think that match would be fantastic. So again, I didn't have much stake in the whole thing. It was what it was, and I mean, it was a good start. So I guess that's about all I can say about it.
That's the way I see it, man. It was a good opening match. You know, it was a good opening match as opposed to the night before where the opening matches almost lost me. I feel what you're saying as far, because I said the same thing to Miss Fabulosity when we was sitting there. I was like, this is weird because I'm used to Rhea Ripley being the rocker chick, so seeing her in anything else but black was kind of weird. But for me personally, being a Dragon Ball Z fan, I thought it was pretty cool. So, you know, I'll take it for it being just a one night thing, and then hopefully she goes back to her all black thing. But moving right along to another person that wears all black all the time, that is Dox. Man, what were you thinking about Charlotte defeating Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship?
I hate it. I hate everything about it. I get it. It makes sense on paper, but if anyone's followed me on social media, they know that I follow Rhea Ripley just around wherever she's at in public. Doesn't matter. And to talk about the ring attire, anyone who is familiar with her social media and stuff knows that she's always huge on Dragon Ball. She has a Vegeta quote as a tattoo. I can't remember which one, but it's on her leg.
Okay.
There's a video of her getting it done on YouTube. But so that didn't really throw me off at all. Like, yeah, I obviously love the all black punk look, but like, so it felt contextually right knowing her social media. And I get that the WWE wants to beat AEW on Wednesday nights, and they feel Charlotte's a huge draw, so putting Charlotte in the NXT scene, it makes sense on paper. Although I would have much rather seen someone like a Bianca Belair or an Io Shirai directly take the belt off of Rhea Ripley.
Sure.
It makes sense on paper. Like, I'm not happy about it, but I can't really fault it, especially if Charlotte is a temporary thing. Like, I know that Rhea's going to have some issues with getting her visa done. She's kind of trapped in the States at the moment until all that shit can get worked out. But if it's like a transitional thing to get someone like Rhea the belt, or not Rhea, to Io Shirai the belt, then I'm fine with it. Just, I do not want, Shayna Baszler type run with the NXT Women's title for Charlotte Flair. She doesn't need it. No one needs it. And she could very easily bury a lot of these stars that have worked so hard to get a little bit of shine.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if they are smart, I think that they should, in fact, use Charlotte as a transitional champion to help make somebody. Because when I see Rhea Ripley, I'll be honest with you guys, I see somebody that's already made. And I think that she's going to get to a point where she's going to become bigger than the championship, just like some of these girls have become, and guys as well. It's a regular thing where you get so, like, you're so over that the championship needs you. You don't need the championship. But that's just my opinion on it, and this is an open forum, so I'm going to throw it over to my man, reporter Drake Kennedy. What was your thoughts on Charlotte defeating Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship?
I thought that it was a good match. I'm not one of those people who are constantly on the hashtag for whatever wrestling event bitching that Charlotte, took the title off of whoever, because I expect it anymore at this point.
Right.
I wanted Rhea to keep it. That's what I would have preferred, but I expected Charlotte to take it off of her. Wasn't too happy about it, but whatever. Finding out last night that Io Shirai won that ladder match and she's going to get the shot with Charlotte makes me way happier.
Yeah.
But definitely, I thought it was a good match. Just not super stoked on the finish. And the ring attire definitely threw me off from the black to the blue. I didn't know that she was a big Dragon Ball Z fan until browsing social media afterwards. So, I mean, it was cool. Very shocking to see her from black to blue to me. But yeah, it was a good match all around, I think.
Yeah, good match. Dug it. Good, definitely a good opener. Like I said before, they did better as far as this opener than they did on night one. So I was totally down for it. Moving right along to the next match we want to talk about here at the In Your House WrestleMania Roundtable. Is Aleister Black going up against the almighty Bobby Lashley. Now, for me personally, the dots weren't connected to this one. They just weren't. This was a match that was put together on the fly. And these are two great competitors. Don't get me wrong, two great competitors, but a match thrown together on the fly, something that you really don't want to see at a WrestleMania, you know. And I think they did as best they could. Aleister Black, he's great. Love Aleister Black. Bobby Lashley, I'm indifferent to him at this point. And he's still coming out with Lana, and that's weird, you know. And I don't know, it just didn't connect with me. If you would have maybe put something on the line, they didn't have the U.S. Championship on the line that night, so maybe make it a number one contenders match for the U.S. Championship. Maybe put something on the line. That's just my personal opinion. And then the ending was weird, where Lana was like, "Oh well, spear him. Why would he do that? He had the match in the bag, so why have to spear?" I don't know. It was just weird to me. Not saying that the match was terrible, it just didn't hit with me. But that's my thoughts on it. I'm going to move it over to my man Hutch. What was you thinking about the match between the almighty Bobby Lashley and Aleister Black?
I mean, it was a good effort by him, but there was really no story there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like they were fighting just to fight, you know, and WrestleMania is typically, and again, I know the circumstances with, you know, everything going on and whatnot, but it just felt like it was just like, hey, we need a time filler. Hey, let's have these two guys fight. Why? I don't know. They don't like each other. I don't know. Like, again, there was no reason. Like Lashley never even knocked on homie's door, did he? Like that never happened. So it's like he didn't steal his Count Chocula cereal. There was no heat there. I don't understand what they were fighting for. So, I couldn't get invested in it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at with it. Couldn't get invested. That was definitely my match where I kind of tuned out and was kind of in the phone a little bit. And you know, that's okay. Like I said, this is all subjective. It's our perspective. And so I'm going to move it over to Docs, man. Give a little brief synopsis on your thoughts on Aleister Black going up against Bobby Lashley.
Well, the thing I popped for the most was, I don't know when Bobby Lashley started wearing long tights, but it worked so much better.
Yeah, that was different.
But if you would have told 2014 era me that Tommy End's going to have a match at WrestleMania and you're not going to give a fuck, I wouldn't believe you, but here I am, and I don't care. I just don't.
It sucks, man. It sucks because he's such a great talent, and I remember hearing months ago that they were going back and forth between either Drew McIntyre or Aleister Black to give that big push, and they went ahead and went with Drew McIntyre, which was fine. That's fine. I just wish they would have found something for Aleister Black, because I just think he's so tremendously talented with a great look and a great vibe, and he's got that main event type vibe that I think they could tap into at some point in the future. Drake, what was you thinking about that match, man? Aleister Black going up against Bobby Lashley.
Other than the only reason to give a shit about the match is because Aleister Black was in the ring, that's about it. Shitty to me. I mean, I love everything Aleister does. He's one of my favorite talents on their roster, so it's a shame that I had to sit there and watch a match that I really didn't give a shit about, other than watching Aleister pull it out. But do you guys sense there's going to be some tension pulled here within the next few weeks between Bobby and Lana with the whole spear call? Do you think that's something that's going to keep going on, or?
You know what? Absolutely. I do. I mean, I feel like, and you might agree with this, Drake, and the rest of you guys too, I don't think that they would have done it. I mean, it's WWE, you never really know, but I really don't think, in my mind, I'm thinking they wouldn't have done it unless they were going to go somewhere with it and continue it. Hutch, where are you at with that?
Well, if you give me more storyline involved with Lana, I'm 100% invested. What can I say? I mean, if you ask me, I think they just need to stop it. I'm just not invested. Like, you got Bobby Lashley, a former MMA fighter, you know, and you got. It's funny. You got Jack Swagger Jake Hager, as they're calling him, as he's going by now, in AEW. You know, calling himself, I'm the only one who's ever done MMA and professional wrestling at the same time. Bobby Lashley did that before.
Yep. He was a TNA champion.
Why do they have Bobby Lashley doing his nonsense? There is potential money in a match with him and Brock Lesnar, especially since Brock Lesnar's free of the title. Like why are they not building Bobby Lashley up to the badass that you referenced TNA, that TNA represented him as, and having that match? But no, they want to stick him with this silly ass nonsense. Like I don't know. I had no stake in the matter. We're not a negative podcast, so I'm going to go ahead and just pump the brakes there.
Sure. But just to add on to that, and then we're going to move on to the next match. I'm going to take it into the woods a little bit, and then bring it right back out. And the whole thing with that Lana Bobby Lashley thing, I feel like the point of it was to get Rusev over, and now Rusev's not even on TV. So I don't get it. Definitely don't get it. But we got to move on, and that's exactly what we're gonna do to a match that I'm very, very interested to get all of your guys' take on. This is a match that. Meltzer gave it 1 star and said it was the most boring match that he ever seen. And even though I feel like personally it did run on a little bit long, my eyes were glued to the screen. For me personally, it was a good throwback to 99-2000 Attitude Era type fight. Yes, did it run long? Absolutely. But I was absolutely glued to see everything that happened. And that was Edge going up against Randy Orton in the Last Man Standing match. I think they did, in my personal opinion, about everything they possibly could have done to make this match stand out in an empty arena, and the ending was good. I gotta say, man, one thing that I like, just like we said about Seth Rollins and KO, Kevin Owens, a lot of good jaw jacking. There was some good back and forths going in this match. It was one of my favorite matches of the entire weekend and the handful that I've picked. But I'm going to throw it over to Hutch, man. What was you thinking about that Last Man Standing match that saw Edge defeating Randy Orton?
Oh, boy. Well, I guess I'm going to be on the other side of the fence on this one.
Sure.
I'm not going to sit here and say that it was the most boring WrestleMania match in history.
Right.
But there were some moments during this match that I was kind of bored. I think it kind of overstayed its welcome a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that I hated it. I will say the ending was nothing short of fantastic. The emotion, the Edge showed. I love when he was when he told the ref stop fucking counting.
Yeah, such a great actor.
I thought that brought a sense of urgency of if you weren't paying attention to what was going on the TV, that would make somebody pay attention.
Yeah,
because it's whoa, who's he getting hot at? Did they really need to do the spot with the exercise equipment so fresh off the dark side of the ring?
Oof.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Go ahead.
Because it was very, again, just like Twitter always is. It was very divisive on that. There were some people whose minds didn't even go there.
Yeah.
I had just watched part 2 of that earlier that day.
Yeah. And bro, personally, my brain went right there.
It went right the fuck there, and instantly. I was trying to distract because again, WrestleMania, we're here to distract you. That's what Stephanie was clucking about at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
We're a distraction. We want to bring you smiles to your faces. Sorry, man, that didn't make me smile. that took me to kind of a bad spot, man. And am I maybe being there's probably some out there's Hutch is being oversensitive to it. Okay, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. It's all subjective. That's just where my mind went there.
Yeah.
When I saw that, and these two had multiple different things. Obviously, they went around the whole performance center.
Yeah.
And which was cool to see. There were some cool visuals. There was a cool spot where a camera guy fell down.
Yeah,
and, was still able to get the shot of I believe it was Orton walking by the doorway and them fight their way out and all that stuff. I thought that was cool. There was some cool shit done there. So it wasn't all bad. I just think they could have shaved about 10-12 minutes off of it.
Sure.
And they could have definitely did without that gym equipment spot. But, good on them in the end with how they kind of took it home, so to speak. And good job to Randy as well on that sell after that chair shot. because like he did like this weird like look on his face and his hand was twitching, and I mean it was excellent. Like that was so good. That's why I could say I'm torn on it. But again, I'm guessing my needle is kind of in the negative, man. I think it was kind of boring in spots.
See,
so
and I understand that. I mean, my perspective is different. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's fine because I really thought it was a good match. I really thought some of the things that I liked in the match was Edge's selling in it because of everybody knows about his neck injury, and the commentary played it really well too, as far as he's trying to get feeling back into his arms, and he's just, those years of acting really served him well, I think, because he was, for me, the highlight of that whole match. Not to say Randy was bad, Randy was great, but Edge was just, he really sold it for me.
Well, and I mean, if I could add one more thing,
sure.
I mean, it was a good match, but I think if it was shot similar to the way they did with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano on NXT, because personally, I enjoyed that match a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
Than I enjoyed Edge and Orton. So that's just my 2 cents, man. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there.
No, that's absolutely fine. And we had a little back and forth on it. We agreed to disagree. You didn't like it. I loved it, and that's okay. But now it's time for us to move on to another person's opinion, and that's Doc's, man. What was you thinking about the last man standing match between Edge and Randy Orton?
You know, as a guy who wears all black, I gotta admit I'm kind of in a gray area because, like, I'm 22. I'm a ruthless aggression era kid, so
Sure.
Randy Orton and Edge were a big part of my childhood, so that nostalgia really comes into play. I felt like sections of this match were phenomenal, absolutely perfect. Couldn't write it any better. A lot of the time, though, it does feel like you're just watching two guys grab their ribs and wince while a guy tries to count to 10, which I get it, selling, psychology. It's also a lot of time filler. This is the second longest match in WrestleMania history behind the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels Iron Man match. And trust me, at points, it fucking feels like it. But, like, I feel like this match as a whole was totally serviceable. I did get kind of worried because, Edge had, said, like, when he first retired, like, one more match could put him, unable to walk again and shit. And here we have him jumping off a ladder, which I didn't think was necessary, kind of winced a little bit there, but anyway, all's well that ends well, right? But I feel like this match serves its purpose because WWE, what are they big on? Highlight packages. That do you remember this shit kind of thing. That's going to make a badass highlight package. The director's cut of that match, take out 15 minutes of wincing.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. So it serves its purpose for the legacy, no pun intended since Randy Orton's involved, for the future of what this match will represent in the career of these men.
Absolutely. Great point. Great points. Like I said, it's definitely something where you can go on either sides of the fence. And one thing that I liked about it, I think it's funny because I feel like they should have had those camera guys from Murray because some of those guys just weren't fast enough to they just weren't fast enough to get there. But it is what it is. I understand what they are going for as far as realism and everything. And like I said, from my perspective, I enjoyed it. But we're going to move it on to Drake, man. Drake, what was you thinking about the last man standing match between Edge and Randy Orton?
I want to run it back to what you said at the beginning. Did you say that Dave Meltzer gave it a 1 star?
Yeah, that's what I'd heard.
Fucking Meltzer. It was at least
Hey, it would have been 7 in the Tokyo Dome.
It would have. I at least would have gave it 2 stars minimum, but I didn't hate it. I think Doc said it best. I'm 23, so I was a ruthless aggression kid. So I really liked Randy, and I loved Edge. Edge was one of my favorites as a child, but I found myself really, really bored in spots that it just felt dragging. But I understand it almost needed to feel that way because it was an all-out fight.
Yeah.
If two guys are going to fight till the finish, it should go almost like 40 minutes, but it felt too long to me. They could have shaved 10, 12, like you guys said, 10, 12 minutes off of it, and it would have been perfect timing. But the storytelling and the facials and psychology was really, really good towards the end. And all of Edge's high spots were ridiculous. I was really nervous to watch him do that table bump. But good match, boring in spots, but it served its purpose for what it was.
See, that's kind of where I'm at, man. Like I said, there was some downtime, and I think me and Miss Fabulosity were thinking, like, wow, this is taking a really long time. But I was invested, and I liked the end. There was some really good spots in that match that just made me thoroughly enjoy it. Seeing Edge and Randy Orton just rip each other apart was really fun for me, man. So real quick, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a little pause for the cause here. Got to talk about our sponsors. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the rest of WrestleMania Night 2. That's going to include the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship match, the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match, the Firefly Funhouse match, and the WWE Championship match. We'll talk to you guys when we come back. Hey guys, this is the director, Con House, of In Your House, and this episode is sponsored by Podcorn. Podcorn is a marketplace connecting podcasters to amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities such as host read ads, interview segments, topical discussions, and more. With Podcorn, there is no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on the platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without any exclusivities. You never give up any rights to your podcast, and Podcorn is here to support you at every step to ensure you're protected and compensated for the work that you do for brands. The marketplace mission is to give podcasters transparency, creative control and freedom, and full control of how and when they monetize. So check the show notes on this episode and you will see a link to www.podcorn.com/podcasters. But now it's time to get back to In Your House. Welcome back to In Your House, hosted by the director, Con House, the cornerstone of commentary, Mikey Hutch, and also the outcast of the podcast, Docs, and reporter, Drake Kennedy. And we are talking about WrestleMania. That's WrestleMania Roundtable Night 2. We're talking about Night 2, guys. We've already had a fantastic conversation, I think. Another banger of an episode here at In Your House. But hey, that's just what we do. We've given you guys 180 plus episodes of that work. And you know we got to distribute it out there to the 14 different countries across these great United States and locally right here in Indiana. So now we're going to get to part 2 of the Roundtable Night 2. And we're going to take it over to the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship match, where the Street Profits saw action against Angel Garza and Austin Theory. And I love the Street Profits, huge fan. Don't understand it all why they were playing to a crowd that wasn't there. I mean, I don't get that. I don't know if that's what they were told to do. If so, that's fine. But I feel like they should have been playing a little bit more to the camera, because that is the audience. There is nobody in the audience, so the cameras become the audience. That's just my personal opinion on that. Angel Garza, I love him. I mean, he just reminds me so much of Eddie Guerrero in a way, with the charisma and he's got that Latino heat feel to it, but he's Angel Garza. He's his own guy, but that's the shades that I get. And Austin Theory, former guest In Your House, one of our best guests that we had, Austin Theory, love him and think that he's a tremendous talent. Felt a little bit dialed down in this match, but this match as a whole, just another one of those matches that was thrown together. An established team like the Street Profits going up against a team that was thrown together. We did get a chance to see Bianca Belair come out. That was pretty cool. She's now, I guess, made the transition. She went from the EST of NXT to the EST of WWE. We'll see how that goes for her. We know how those call-ups go, you guys. So the match kind of was what it was for me. I mean, I don't really know what else to say because I wasn't completely invested. So I'm going to throw it over to Hutch, man. What was you thinking about the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship match between the Street Profits, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory?
I don't dislike the talent involved, but again, it just felt like filler to me.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like there was anything really at stake, even though, I mean, it was for the titles, I guess it was. But again, I'll be honest, I don't think I even watched all this match. You know, and again, that's no disrespect to anybody, but I do believe I was making a sandwich at that time. So, I mean, if we're shooting here, I mean, that's exactly what I was doing at that time. So
Hey.
it was sandwich time.
Yep,
So.
just keep it a stack, bro. Just keep it a stack.
Oh, I did. My sandwich was stacked as fuck. I'm talking Scooby-Doo. I'm talking Scooby-Doo style sandwich, man. I don't fuck around when it comes to the Sammys.
You made yourself a Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, bro?
Jinkies.
Hey, I can dig it, man. I can dig it. So with that being said, man, I mean, I didn't have a whole lot to say about it. It sounds like you didn't either. You know what? We're going to throw it over to Drake and get his opinion, and then we'll just move on because I don't see any reason to kind of really dwell on this. Drake, what was you thinking about that match?
Yeah, it was good. Not a lot of. I love everybody involved. Everybody involved is a good talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt thrown together. But it was a good match. I was really tuckered out after Orton and Edge for this match. They had a tough spot to fill after that 45 minutes. I think
it's rough, bro. It's definitely rough. That's for sure. So like I said, I feel like Docs. Would you say pretty much the same thing, or did you have anything different that you wanted to add about that match? I mean, I don't really want to leave you out, but I just don't feel like there's going to be anything different. Is there anything that you want to add?
I shit you not 100%. I didn't see it because I was making bagel bites, and that is 100% true.
Well, all right. Well, all right. So we'll just go ahead and move on then. We'll move on to a match that I think we can have a decent discussion about, and that's the Fatal 5-Way match. It saw Bayley retaining against Lacey Evans, Sasha Banks, Naomi, and Tamina Snuka. It was a pretty good match. I liked the match, and we got a chance to see a little bit of a reunion between Team Bad, Sasha Banks, Naomi, and Tamina. And I gotta be honest, when they got in the ring and had that little classic stare down between old stablemates, that's when I remember Team Bad. Before that, I totally forgot they were a thing. I mean, I just totally forgot that Team Bad was a thing. And then they did the whole Unity thing, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing. I'll remember now. So I guess that was okay, kind of cool. The big standout for me was the story between Bayley and Sasha Banks. Was Bayley going to be, as Corey Graves has always called her, a bad friend, and finally make that turn? I really thought Lacey Evans was going to have her moment after that tremendous women's right that she delivered to Sasha Banks. I mean, she throws that right. Just, I love it. It's great. It's one of my favorite moves because it's simple, but she puts her own spin on it to make it not simple. And that, you think of moves like the clothesline from hell, or even just various different looks on the DDT. They put their own little spin on that and just make it that much, make it different, make it their own. Bayley retains. I don't know if this is going to lead to more. I really thought Lacey was going to have her moment, but maybe they're waiting for Lacey to be there with her daughter there or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure where it's going. The SmackDown women's title scene was just so to me that anything could have happened, and I probably wouldn't have batted an eye too much. So, Hutch, what was you thinking about the Fatal 5-Way elimination match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship?
I don't know, man. I kind of thought Lacey was going to win it, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
It was all right. I mean, again, I feel like I'm being repetitive, and I'm not like, I don't, at the risk of sounding like I really wasn't invested, I guess this one really didn't get me much either.
Sure.
I mean, and it has nothing to do with the participants again, and, and I get it. I don't even know if having a crowd there would have, brought me into this one anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just there, kind of like you said, the women's, division has been kind of stagnant lately. Mm-hmm. And then we just recently saw the return of Nia Jax, and ain't a damn thing changed with her.
No, nothing.
Like it's funny with Nia Jax. I know say what we're talking about, but just the fact that they brought her back, right?
Yeah.
why does she like she does not like she's supposed to be like the monster woman of the division, right?
Yeah.
When she comes down to ramp, and this is not like a joke on her, like a size joke on her, I assure you of that. But it doesn't look like she's coming down to beat somebody's ass. It looks like she just got out of her Kia something or other and is about to go into the McDonald's or whatever because they got her order wrong.
Damn.
Like she doesn't look like she's a fucking badass like she's supposed to be.
Right.
I mean, am I wrong here?
No,
am I wrong?
There's
and
no
again,
sense of urgency when she walks down the ramp, bro.
And again, or you know what? And I ain't gonna say it's a fast food place again because I don't want anybody to spin this like I'm trying to make a big joke on her. Because again, Nia Jax is not an unattractive woman. That is not a diss on her whatsoever. We'll say she's going into a department store because she's returning something because she's pissed off. Then
You
she just
basically
looks like
saying
Call
she's
her
being
Karen, bro.
I know. I was gonna say,
Just
bro, you
call
call
her
her
Karen.
Karen.
Yowie wow!
yeah, you know what I mean. She is fucking Karen, dude. That's who she is, fucking Karen Jax.
He said she was Karen.
Oh, Schwitz.
But anyway, again, obviously, I got nothing to say about the match, so I guess I don't want to be the filler in that. So I guess that's all I got to say about it.
Sure, man. Yeah, hey, man. It is what it is. Like I said, I think the match itself to me was a decent match. Did it hook me in and make me totally care? No, it didn't, because there was no like. They didn't build towards anything. I mean, it's a multi-person match, which I guess they don't want to have too many stories in that. But even the whole Sasha Banks Bayley story wasn't even built the way it was built. Guys, I remember a time when Sasha Banks and Bayley had one of the most amazing matches I've ever seen in my entire life at NXT Brooklyn. I mean, that's a match that's going to stand the test of time. People still talk about it today, and it was a fantastic match. Now, here they are, teaming up and doing the same thing. I'm just not vibing with it. But I'm going to throw it over to Docs, man. What was you thinking about the Fatal 5-Way elimination match that saw Bayley retaining the SmackDown Women's Championship?
Well, I disagree entirely, just throwing that out there, guys. But this match, to me, was far better than I had any anticipation of it being. And we talked a lot on night one about, like, especially Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, how the jaw-jacking really came into play there.
Yeah.
Well, Sasha Banks and Bayley are fucking bullies, and that shit was amazing. I loved it. It was really good to me. Granted, I've always been biased towards Bayley since, like, the NXT days. Like, she was just my pick of the horsewomen. But this match made me realize that, oh, shit, she and Sasha are good wrestlers. Like, I forgot about that because I don't watch SmackDown.
Right.
But I feel like the way it's kind of set up is kind of going to be what I call an M. Night Shyamalan finish for the storyline, where we're going to wind up with a heel Bayley and a face Sasha, which is flip-flop from really how it should be. But I kind of think that's how it's going to end out. And you know what? I'm kind of here for it. Like, I could just be hopeful in a situation where I shouldn't be, but I've invested a whole lot in women's wrestling, and I'm just trying to see where the end game is. But I feel like this match was a good step. Some spots in there that I really liked. The accidental knee to Sasha's head, I really thought that was good because that sets up for, well, now Sasha's going to screw over Bayley for the title, and it didn't happen. So a little bit of a swerve there. I liked it, but I'm a bit biased.
Sure, no, I totally understand. For me, man, it was just weird because if Sasha was paying attention, she can see that the knee was accidental. And then she comes in and she's jaw-jacking with Bayley, and I guess they get over it, and then she ends up helping out Bayley, which at that point she'd been eliminated anyway, so it's like, whatever, I'm out, so let me go ahead and screw Lacey. It was just kind of weird back and forths. And one thing that I will say that I disagree with is the idea of Bayley being the heel and Sasha being the face, which you kind of touched on and said that it is flip-flop from how it should be, because even like after that match was over, Bayley was like on the ropes talking about how, oh, I run it, this is my division, blah blah blah, and I was just thinking to myself, you don't sound tough. Like, I don't believe you as a badass at all. Now, Sasha Banks, she's just a natural born bitch. Like, she can play a heel so well, and I think that when it's all about her, that amplifies, man. Like, it amplifies when she can be her normal, self-absorbed self. But to see her kind of playing second fiddle to Bayley just kind of feels weird to me. That's just my thoughts. You know, I like to see Sasha Banks be like, it's all about me and Sasha, all about Sasha, because that's her attitude, you know. And I just don't believe that any friendship is really truly going to set her different from her natural ways, which is caring about herself in the championship, because he was a freak for that title for such a long time. And to see her be like, yeah, Bayley has it, I'm okay. You know, it's just weird to me. But that's just my thoughts on it. Drake, what was you thinking about the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match, man?
Well, you recall how the last match I said, well, Orton and Edge kind of left me a little sleepy afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have accidentally taken a nap during this match and woke up when the bell rang and the match was over. So I'm going to take Dox's word that it was a good match by his biased self. So I'm going to have to rewatch that one.
Oh no, I totally get it, man. Guys, Drake's going to take a knee on this match. So he's going to take a knee. That's all right, man. That's okay.
All way out. It's all good.
Yeah, that's fine. But that, you know what? It's cool, bro. It's cool because now we get a chance to talk about a match I am just absolutely dying to talk about and get your guys' input on. It wasn't really much of a match, you guys. I mean, it was just a cinematic spectacle. And that's just the best way I can put on. You know, I'm sure Docs will say something like, "Oh, it was an acid trip," or something, you know, or something like that. I can see Doc saying that. But for me, man, it's time to talk about the Firefly Funhouse match that saw Bray Wyatt defeating John Cena. This thing was all over the place, and you see John Cena come out doing his normal entrance, which first thing I'll say is John Cena looks like he has trimmed down quite a bit. My God, he looked so skinny. Like, he didn't look as ripped as I had normally seen him, which I think that's a normal thing for guys that go from wrestling to acting. And maybe he was, you know, trimming down for a part or something like that. I'm not going to hang up too much on that. But guys, what this thing was absolutely insane. I'm not going to break down every single thing because I'm going to give you guys a chance to, but I mean, there's so much to cover, you guys, between John Cena redoing his debut, what would have happened had he joined the NWO, him being, you know, Chain Gang Cena. There was so much. I mean, you had Mr. McBoss, what's the damn bird's name? Macho Mercy on commentary. This is such good shit. And it's like there was a lot of esoteric references that only wrestling fans would have got out of this segment. So maybe it wouldn't have hooked the casual fan that was watching WrestleMania. But for us hardcore guys, there was so much to chew on. And like, oh, I get it. That's the thing. You know, that was kind of cool for me. But Hutch, break it down, man, because I know you've been invested in the Bray Wyatt thing since the very beginning. Then you kind of jumped out. Then you said there were some cool things that you were digging on that they had done that you jumped back in. Where are you at with this whole spectacle as a whole? Please give me your insight.
Well, yeah, I guess I'll lead by saying personally, this is one of the best pieces of WWE programming I've ever seen. The story that it told was nothing short of stellar. It made John Cena, the character of John Cena, have to face all of his potential failures.
Yeah.
His debut that was basically almost a flop. You know, what would have happened if he would have turned heel. You know, there was a lot of things there, and also what the hell happened to him.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he said that he was going to, you know, to end the biggest, most overhyped, overprivileged WWE talent that there is. Maybe he was talking about himself. You know, I mean, there's a lot to this. And then it's like, where did this quote unquote take place? And I'm not talking about where it was filmed. Was this in John Cena's head, or was this in Bray Wyatt's head? I'm thinking it was more so in John Cena's head, because what's Bray Wyatt always say? Let me in.
Yeah.
This is what happens. This is what happens.
Hold on, and he let Bray Wyatt into his head?
And this is what happens when you let him in.
Oh my God.
And here's another interesting little thing for you to chew on. I can't take credit for this. This is something that was thrown out on social media, but it's something to think about as well.
Sure.
Why did Goldberg beat The Fiend?
Why?
Because there was no connection. Goldberg was true to his character the entire time. The Goldberg character never had any kind of doubt in their mind. That's The Fiend's weakness. The Fiend wasn't able to get to Goldberg because Goldberg's character never doubted himself for a second. Cena's character did. Seth's character did. Bryan's character did. They all did. And plus, they all had a connection and a history with Wyatt, too.
Yeah. Goldberg
did not. That's why Goldberg was able to defeat The Fiend. Just something to think about. Wow. Now, am I still upset at the fact that happened? Yeah, a little bit. But again, with doing what they did here, this was fucking awesome. And I can't wait for the follow-up. This is something that I think they need to do more of, as far as we talked about it with the Boneyard match and with this. This did so much for the character of Bray Wyatt as well. Yeah. Because, again, it's just a glimpse as to what he's, this character's capable of, what it can do. If you let him in, so to speak. But again, it was just the way this was shot. There were so many nods and moments that if you're a long-term wrestling fan, my God, you ate this up. Yeah. Because again, there was so much. And hell, there's part of me that wants to see John Cena come back as the leader of the NWO.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So you know what? Let me ask you a question though, because you've had so much invested in this. I want to be, just to play a little devil's advocate here. Do you think that this match, because there's a lot of casual people who watch WrestleMania. More casuals watch WrestleMania than really any other WWE program that's out there. Do you think this match would have turned off casual wrestling fans because there was so much esoteric wrestling things involved?
I think there's a good chance of that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how, because it would have just seemed like some randomness, I think.
Yeah.
However, I think there may be a small contingent of them that may kind of push them to tumble down the rabbit hole, so to speak.
Sure.
Just be like, I want to understand this, just because of how well done it was. Maybe they'll go back and watch 6 years ago, and then they'll follow the career path of Bray Wyatt and see what led to this, and then go back and watch this again and have a much more deeper appreciation for it. Because again, it's weird, man. It's like, every time you think WWE doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, they go and do some shit like this. And then it's frustrating because then you go to, which again, I know Raw's gimped and wrestling is all, overall is gimped with this whole current under unpredictable circumstances that we're under.
Mm-hmm.
But they do some shit like this, and then they have that fucking shit show of a Raw follow-up. That
Don't
did
get me going,
absolutely nothing for nobody. And again, I know, it's the biggest Raw of the year after WrestleMania. I know it wasn't going to live up to that, again, with the unforeseen, uncontrollable circumstances and whatever that's going on right now.
Right.
But again, they did nothing. Nothing. Why are they not taking, trying something outside of the box here? Start filming your shit in a film type of way.
Cinematic,
if you want to go ahead and outright say it, hack Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Fucking hack them.
I'm cool with that. I'm good.
You stole everything else from the territories. Why don't you fucking steal that too?
Hey, facts. You know what, bro? I totally agree. I'm with you on that, bro.
So, and again, but they're doing it, but you can't be half pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, you either got to do it or you don't do it. You do this magnificence that is, the Boneyard match and this Firefly Funhouse match. You got the brilliant minds like Jeremy Borash there, who I do believe had some sort of hand in this.
Yeah.
in at least one of these. And then you got minds like, Bray Wyatt and John Cena, who I assume had a majority of the input in this Funhouse match. Let these characters be characters, man, and do some different shit right now. This is a time to develop your characters. So, but again, they're not going all in with it. I think they're afraid to step outside of their wheelhouse.
Yeah. Well, if you ask me, now's the time more than ever to do that. Either you do something different or you do what everybody else is kind of doing, and that's kind of take an off season, and
Or that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a discussion that we could definitely have on this show as well. Is off season a good thing for wrestling? We'll talk about that on a future episode. But now I'm gonna move it over to Docs, man. What was you thinking about the Firefly Funhouse match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena?
All right. So, full disclosure, I've done a lot of things in my day that have, let's say, messed with my mind a little bit.
Altered your sense of reality, bro?
Yeah, stuff like that. And, this match was, it was a ride, much like a couple others I've been on before. But no, in all seriousness, I loved everything about it. One thing that's like a small detail that, like, I'm sure that I care way too much about, but, like, I loved it. The sign on the door, the abandon all hope, ye who exit here, the reference to Dante's Inferno, this was like, first, second episode of Firefly Funhouse that got put on there, right? And it pays off because John Cena exits the door, and he abandoned all hope because he got mind raped in the funnest way possible. Like, this was fucking incredible, and that just seemed like subtle foreshadowing that just, it paid off to me, and I was just super hype about it. But yeah, like, this match, the segment, whatever, this trip, it was an experience, and like Shrek, like onions, like ogres, it has layers, like, and I do think that that'll turn off a lot of casual viewers, because it's one of those things where it's super cool to be included in the group that gets the references.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like all the experience I've had trying to turn people onto wrestling, the one thing that they always bring up, it's the same reason I don't know anything about Game of Thrones, is I've missed too much. There's too much shit to catch up on.
Yeah.
And this segment alone has 25 years of lore behind it,
Yeah.
So like, I could see that turning people off, but this felt like a gift for those of us who can say that we do get it. We have invested this much into this product that we can go back 20 years and get an inside joke. And that's just one of those things. I feel like out of the two, you've got to show the Boneyard match to people who don't watch wrestling. But this was just a treat for all of us. Super excited for where it goes. And like you guys said, this is the time to be doing that shit, and it's proven that it works. Like, law of diminishing returns is definitely a thing, and you shouldn't do it, to where we don't care anymore. But as long as this is a thing that's, like, on a periodic basis, hell, let Bray do it during every one of the big 4, big 5 pay-per-views. I don't give a shit. But if this is a one-and-done kind of thing for the Bray Wyatt character, I feel like that is a huge swing and a miss, if you know what I mean.
I understand, and there's a discussion to be had, Doc. Which a lot of great points that you made, bro. But there's a discussion to be had, man, about is this cinematic thing that we're seeing now in wrestling, is there a place for it in wrestling today? I think there is. Maybe not all the time, but I definitely think there's a place to have it in there. I mean, you think about things like Lucha Underground. You think about the final and ultimate deletion, from Matt Hardy and what he did. And that was another thing. I remember when they first did I believe it was the final deletion at the time, which was with TNA. And correct me if I'm wrong on that, you guys, but that thing was so split. It was so split. People loved it. People hated it. It was just, it was a spectacle. And that's what this was with the Firefly Funhouse. It kept John Cena, even though he's probably still capable of having a match, but it protected him, just like the Boneyard match protected The Undertaker from his weak points. And you got to see a lot of cool stuff and a lot of cool references. And like Doc said, we really got a chance to see a lot of build build up from things that's like, what if this would have happened? What if that would have happened? What if Bray Wyatt would have beat John Cena 6 years ago? What if he would have turned heel? This, that, blah, blah, blah. There was a lot of things in there that wrestling fans just ate up. And for that aspect, that was just one of the many reasons why I personally loved it. But we've got everybody else's thoughts. Now it's time to move on to Drake, man. What was you thinking about the Firefly Funhouse match?
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. There were multiple aspects of that match or segment or whatever you want to call it that I enjoyed thoroughly. It was very much like an acid trip. That did feel like being on drugs. Ariel and I kept catching ourselves saying, what the fuck, every little change that would happen, and I loved that. That's what I think it needed to be. All of the little rabbit holes that, from what it seems like, it was John's brain was jumping down of all of his failures and different aspects and different things. It was all really well done. My one big bitch was, which everybody was stoked, the NWO stuff. I thought it was funny, other than them showing Bischoff after he just got fired a few months ago. He was a fall guy for no fucking reason. Fuck WWE for firing Bischoff for no reason. But, yeah, hot take, getting prepped.
Hot take Drake.
But it was really good. Another part of my favorite part of that was the social media aspect of it, because I tried to keep refreshing my feed to see what people were saying, and it was super 50-50. But the amount of, if you guys recall the South Park episode, it's called WTF. It's where the boys create their federation, and they want to learn how to wrestle after. Yep, they want to learn how to wrestle after going to a WWE show, so they learn how to. They're going to go to amateur wrestling in school, and the coach gets really mad. And what does he tell them? He says,
"That's not real wrestling.
That's not real wrestling. This is wrestling." The amount of people on Twitter that were for real, that teacher was fucking astounding. People who did not like this were pissed. And that was half the entertainment I got out of it for me.
Dude.
I thought it was really well done. I love all like the innuendos and references to everything. It was a really deep dive. I'd love to see them experiment further with this, even if it will piss people off, because this isn't wrestling. But yeah, it was fun. I thought it was really fun and kept my attention, and I wanted to watch it over and over and over again, really. It was super fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I jumped off the couch so many times. Miss Fabulosity did too. She really enjoyed it. And Drake, you are 100% right on the fact that professional wrestling traditionalists were so pissed. They were so triggered, bro. I was seeing it on this isn't wrestling. This is stupid. I can't wait for us to get in front of crowds again so they're not doing any of this stupid. Guys, I'm just going to take a second. I'm going to take a second to say, listen, progress is going to keep on pushing. If you get left behind and ran over, that's on you. People dug it. People dug the Boneyard match. The majority of people dug the Boneyard match. Majority of people dug the Firefly Funhouse match. If it works, it's going to keep coming. And it's your prerogative to jump on your social media that is linked to you and say exactly what you feel about it. But that doesn't mean that they're going to stop, because if it's working and people are digging it and it's meaning dollars for the WWE, guess what, guys? They're going to keep doing it. So it's your prerogative to be pissed off about it, but it's their prerogative to keep it going if it works. It's a business, guys. Let's understand that. And from what I see, a lot of people was digging it, and I think we're going to see a lot more like it. I mean, Hutch kind of referenced earlier the Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa match. They're already moving towards that. It's already something that's happening. They're talking about doing the Elite Deletion already on AEW. Well, that's going to be something interesting. Doing it on the Hardy compound once again. You know, it's coming, guys. So just expect it. It's coming.
Well,
you had something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and if I can just add to that as well. I mean, you got these people out there who don't want to see some of these like long running talents go. Think about how long that this could prolong the Undertaker's career.
Oh my God, yeah.
They got a good 5-10 year run out of him if they wanted to continue to do shit like this.
Yeah.
With him. So I mean, why not? It preserves the wrestlers' bodies from having to take unnecessary bumps. It's something that's outside of the norm and it's outside of the box. And hey, you can't just do the same old shit all the time.
Yep.
So I just want to throw that out there too.
No, great points. Great points I agree with, especially on preserving the body. You see actors, they can act until they're well into their 70s and 80s. You know what I mean? This is what that was. It was like watching a Sons of Anarchy or watching a Walking Dead. That's exactly what you got. And it preserves The Undertaker because The Undertaker looked great in that cinematic setting. In my personal opinion, I thought he looked great. But the Firefly Funhouse match was crazy cinematic, and it was just a crazy ride. But now it's time to talk about the last match here, guys. Time to move on to the last match, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of different takes on it. There's not a lot to talk about as far as the match goes, but the moment is the thing to talk about, and that is the fact that Drew McIntyre defeated Brock Lesnar in the main event, which was coming after that Firefly Funhouse match, man. Rough, because the Firefly Funhouse match just had everybody on their ass, and then you give a 2-3 minute little thing for, and it's fine because Drew had his moment, and he even played to the camera, which was good, saying pretty much you're all here with me, we're all together, things like that. Great moment for Drew, great emotional moment, and from what I've seen on the social media, he's not letting the fact that there was no crowd there take his moment away from him. He's enjoying it, he's loving life, and he's on cloud 9 right now. The match just left so much to be desired, but it was a Brock Lesnar match, and Brock Lesnar, hey, at this point, it just kind of is what it is. Brock Lesnar can absolutely wrestle. I really don't want to hear anybody say that Brock Lesnar can't wrestle. It's the fact that Brock Lesnar, does he have to wrestle? Nah, not right now. He doesn't. Not at this point. But he absolutely can. The match was just not it for me. The moment, in my eyes, even though it would have been great in front of a big crowd, didn't hit it. What was you thinking about it there, Hutch?
First off, everybody knows that I love Brock.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Hi, Chris. Everybody knows I love Brock. And I love Drew McIntyre as well. This match, with all due respect to the talent, this match fucking sucked to me.
Yeah.
It was just, finisher. Okay, there it is. And maybe and I will say, I feel bad that Drew didn't have his moment in front of the crowd. Because again, with the spot and the crowd popping and the pyro and all that shit, Drew deserves that spot. But yeah, this match, it really didn't do it. Hell, I would have closed the show with the Firefly Funhouse segment.
I would have done the same.
I kind of thought they would. It's cool that they wanted Drew McIntyre to be in the main event spot. That's awesome, and I'll give it to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar did say what you guys can say what the fuck you want about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar did everything he could leading up to this match and including in this match to get Drew McIntyre the fuck over. From, reminding him, hey, grab that title. So, after you've done knock me down with 3 claymores on that episode of Raw, don't forget to grab that title and hold it up. He was trying to help Drew out in every single possible way he could.
Yeah,
again, Brock did good business here. Just like if you ask me, just like he always does. Say what you want, but he does. But again, this match just really didn't do it for me, man. It was. I'm glad Drew won. The right person won. Personally, I'm thinking I may have, given the circumstances, I might have had Brock Lesnar win here and maybe set something up for them again at SummerSlam when they have a crowd and then have the match and have that moment and all that shit. You know what I mean? But that's just me, just armchair booking. What do I know? I just co-host a 5-star podcast. I'm nothing.
Hey, no, I totally get it, man. And at this point, you could do that, but at this point, we're not even sure if even SummerSlam is going to be in front of a crowd.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I don't know. Maybe they factored that into it. I'm not for sure, but not really a whole lot to chew on this match. But I'm going to throw it over to my man Docs, man. What was you thinking about that main event, bro?
To me, this was a perfect example on how you can do the same thing twice on 2 consecutive nights but have a different reaction. Because, like, Braun versus Goldberg was the exact same match, except when Braun won, I could not really give less of a shit. It was 4 years too late.
Yeah.
But with Drew holding the title at the end, it was more like a breath of fresh air where it's like, all right, this is someone that can dominate for a while, can go on a long tear, be fucking a goddamn monster, and me be okay with it. Because just putting the words Brock Lesnar and champion together, it just has bad connotation. There's a bad stigma attached to it for the last, 5 years or so. Just say the same with, the name Roman Reigns. Like, I'm not excited to see him take the belt off Braun at SummerSlam, but Drew McIntyre, I liked him back when he looked like Orlando Bloom and was the IC champion and the chosen one and shit. So this is just a prophecy paying off, and he deserves it. He went out and worked his ass off for it. So, again, the match was the exact same match we got the night before, but the moment at the end definitely really made it for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Great moment. The right man won, and I know I said it on part 1 of the round table, but the big thing, there's a couple things there with Braun Strowman. One, it was just so many years too late, and a lot of indie guys were just not feeling him for the stuff that he was saying during this crisis, and it is what it is. Not everybody's blessed to have that kind of size and that kind of strength to where WWE's like, oh, let's take this guy, let's pick him up. He doesn't have to go through the indies. So, I think he was, me personally, feel like he was speaking from a place of inexperience. But hey, what do I know? I don't know that. I've never been in the same room as Braun Strowman. So I don't know what he's been through or what he's done. The moment for Drew McIntyre was great, though. Loved it. Loved that he's the champion. Drake, where was you at with that main event, bro? What's your thoughts?
I don't have much to say about the match. Doc said it perfectly that we just got to the same main events in a row, but with the different outcomes. I couldn't have put it any better myself. The moment afterwards, awesome. The emotion on Drew's face felt really real because I'm sure it fucking was. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it was a good moment. I would have preferred going out of WrestleMania with the Fun House maybe, but I did like that emotion from Drew. But I don't know. It was good. Yeah. I mean, that's really – Doc said it perfectly. Killed it.
Yep. Hey, great points. Great points by Docs. And one more thing before we go ahead and ride on into the sunset and call this a really great episode. I don't know how we skipped over this, and I feel like I'm just gonna throw it out there and give my thoughts on it, and then let you guys kind of jump in and be like, yeah, that's pretty much it, or have any other thoughts that you have on it. But Otis and Dolph Ziggler, we didn't get to that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we didn't get to Otis and Dolph Ziggler. We fucked up. No. We fucked up. Hey, but we got to it. But I really feel like, all in all, it was a decent match. But the main thing that I think everybody would take from this, and you guys might agree, I feel like you guys would agree with this, is, man, that kiss between Otis and Mandy Rose in the ring, if they were in front of 70,000 fans, that place would have erupted. Absolutely erupted, because they told that story really, really well. They invested a lot of good time into that story, and they made me just love Otis so much. And now they're still playing it on social media that they're a couple. I don't know if they are or if they aren't. I don't care. I'm getting lost in the story. It is what it is. But I love those two together, and I love that moment. I really wish it would have been in front of the 70,000 fans, because they would have popped hard. Hutch, what do you think about that match, man?
I mean, you said it best right there. That would have been amazing in front of the crowd, and they're currently WWE's power couple, man. Like I love it, because I mean it was like one of the few stories in SmackDown that I was invested in, and they actually let this one go for a little while, and and I bought into it because obviously we all know it's just a show, but when Mandy ended up aligning with Dolph, I was calling her a harlot, a tramp, and all that shit on Twitter and all that, just along with everybody else. Because you know what I mean? It's like, come on, Otis is great. Otis is fucking awesome. And then they ended up finally leading up to this. So I mean, it was cool. I liked it. It was a good moment. But yeah, this was another one of those things that really would have just been so fucking awesome to have a crowd for.
Yeah, I agree with that. Doc, so you kind of feeling the same way, man? Where were you at?
Well, prior to this storyline, I absolutely hated Mandy Rose. I felt like Sonya really should have been getting the push that Mandy was getting, but this story actually like made me not hate Mandy Rose and like already love heavy machinery. Who doesn't? But yeah, it was a great moment. Like you said, the crowd would have erupted. It was the real, Miss Elizabeth reuniting, moment.
Yeah. I would have loved. I don't know if you guys saw this, but have you guys seen that kind of a meme, I guess, but it's a video of like a big screen. It's kind of like, it looks like at a B-dubs or something, and there's like so many people in there, and then the moment happens and everybody goes nuts. I saw that with that moment, and I was like, man, I really would have loved to have seen that in front of a crowd. Drake, any additional thing that you want to add?
That was the WrestleMania moment. Was that kiss for me? That's what I went into WrestleMania wanting, and I got it. And I believe, if I'm thinking correctly, Ariel and I like cheered in her bedroom when it hit.
That's awesome.
We were the crowd that we wanted to hear cheer for that kiss. That I really think that would have sounded like a Stone Cold entrance eruption.
Man,
like that pop would have been massive.
Yeah, I agree with that. All in all, man, I thought WrestleMania was it was a pleasurable weekend. I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I said, the beginning of night one had me really worried, but I'm glad I stuck around. All in all, it was a pretty, it was a pretty great show. The follow up, like Hutch touched on, we're not a negative podcast, but that Raw after that was just, I had to turn it off. I just did, and it is. That's my prerogative. That's my feelings on it. Didn't dig it. But with that being said, like I said, overall, good WrestleMania. Glad that we got this two-parter done. Glad that we got everybody's thoughts in there. And guys, we're going to give you a little more of that work. We're going to give you some really cool stuff. We're going to highlight some of our our individuals here on Team In Your House. I'm really excited about that, man, because I want to see these guys. I want to see these guys and gals grow, and maybe at some point they're going to want to go off and do their own podcast, other interests, because the thing about the everybody here at Team In Your House is, yeah, we love wrestling, but it's just one of many things that the team here is passionate about, and I love that, man. I personally love that. I love to see my friends chasing what they want to chase, enjoying what they want to enjoy. The day that I stop enjoying my passions, I don't want to be here anymore, man. Like, I'm just going to say, I don't want to be, because you see so many people just let their dreams die, and then they fall into mediocrity, and they don't enjoy the things that they enjoyed, back in their younger days. I'm not saying that you have to go out there and have a midlife crisis, but don't let your dreams be dreams. Do it. But no, seriously, I want to see everybody on Team In Your House thrive. And with that being said, I'm going to throw it over to Drake, man. It's your time to plug your social medias and give us any final thoughts that you have on social media or on WrestleMania or anything else, man. Go ahead and plug it.
Yeah, man. In conclusion, I thought WrestleMania was a good show. Great, awesome effort by all the talents involved to put on a show for fans during this bullshit of a time that we have to deal with. It was great. So shout out to them for sticking through a hard time, especially not being able to play to fans, because that fucking sucks. But yeah, to plug stuff, you can follow me on the Twitter at Drake Reports IYH. I talk about wrestling and music and movies and bullshit. A recommendation for you guys: there's about 5 of these episodes out. If you haven't caught it, Dave Bird, also known as Lil Dicky, has a new TV show on FX called Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave.
It's fucking hilarious. Hi, I'm Dave. That shit kills. That show's so funny. The messages are really good. Wonderful time. Get back at me. Follow me on Twitter and let me know if you like it, or even if you hate it and you can rib me for it. But yeah, follow me on Twitter at Drake Reports IYH.
Awesome, man. Awesome. That is Drake. And yeah, I've heard a lot about that show, and I definitely want to check it out. So with your recommendation, I think I'll find some time to go ahead and sit down and watch Dave, man. It seems like a really cool show. I'm going to move it over to Docs, man. You know what time it is, man. Give your final thoughts on WrestleMania or anything else, and throw your social medias out there, bro. Go ahead and plug it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Brittle Club, and Punctuation Nation, it's your friend, your favorite part of the problem, the outcast of the podcast, Docs, and WrestleMania was a good show, and I'm glad that everyone stuck through it and could get through everything, and thank you to the performers for, sticking it out during the Backstreet Boys reunion tour. But aside from that, you can follow me on Twitter, Docs on the Rocks, DOX on the ROX. Also producing a movie right now with my production company, Doxby Films, DOXBY Films. If you don't know how to spell that, go back to second grade, you stupid troglodyte. But until then, you can get in contact with us on the Doxby Films Facebook page, Instagram, all of that bullshit you spend way too much time on even before we were all in quarantine. And until then, you can riddle me that.
That is our man, Docs, the mastermind behind the Mental Match Card. Doxby Films going to be putting out a lot of cool content and films. Definitely want to work with them. Go follow that man, because these kids, man, these kids are just tremendous young filmmakers, and I've been pleasured to see their growth over the years, and blessed to see it, man, and been able to work with them, as far as what I've done. So definitely give him a follow and check out what he's going to be doing, because the kid just puts out great content. And with that being said, it's time to move right along to the cornerstone of commentary. And he is the cornerstone of commentary, but there hasn't been much to commentate lately, which really sucks for us. But you know what time it is there, Hutch. Go ahead and give your final thoughts on WrestleMania or anything else, and put out your social medias. Plug it, bro.
It's funny you actually mentioned the fact that there's been nothing to commentate, man. I've actually been doing some, because, you got to stay in practice, you know what I mean? You got to stay in rhythm, and I actually did some commentary. There was a couple of squirrels that, they were fighting over what appeared to be a nut or something out here outside my patio, so I was doing some commentary on that. I should have live streamed it, at least for scientific research, or at least to go back and critique my work later, as much as I hate to do that. But yeah, so that's it, man. I'm staying in the game. And with that being said, you can follow me on my social media, which is the Twitter. And you can follow me at Hutch, IYH. I've actually hit that lucky number, bro. I'm about to go to Vegas once this shit opens up, because I'm at 777 followers now.
Woo!
So, yeah, man, it's the Legion is ever growing. And I'm still doing the TikTok thing. I still don't know why. I'm up to 48 single moms now that follow me. So that's a thing, too. And don't judge me, Con. Anyway, so, there's not a whole lot to cheer or boo right now. But regardless of what it is that you're watching, be it the new stuff that AEW and WWE is putting out, or the old stuff, the old content, or you're watching some old New Japan, or whatever it is you happen to be sipping upon. We are wrestling. We are Legion. We are one. Stay in your house, because we ain't in your house. We love you. Stay safe out there. Don't get cooties. Peace.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Guys, you know what it is. We are one. One of the great slogans from the cornerstone of commentary, my man, Mikey Hutch. Guys, we got a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming to you guys here soon. Like I said, we're going to be highlighting our individuals here on Team In Your House. I'm really excited for that, because we want to grow some stars here, man. We want to grow some personalities and have a lot of fun doing it. Guys, also check out the Pope's Point of View. That's Elijah Burke. You guys remember him from WWE, TNA, now currently with NWA Power. I've been producing his podcast since December. We have another episode that is going to be dropping tomorrow on Saturday at 9:05, where he goes over WrestleMania and gives his top 10 WrestleMania matches of all time. Had a lot of fun doing that, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. But until then, we're going to go ahead and slide out of here, guys, because you know what we do. We got to go ahead and we got to get back to staying in our house, which is the same thing that you should be doing, and that's stay in your house. So let me let you guys know where you guys can listen to this at. You guys can listen to this at Apple Podcast, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Himalaya. Hey, you don't have an Apple device? That's all right. We're on Google Play. Anywhere that you guys are, we can get to you guys. We got a lot of cool stuff coming for you guys. We got the mental match card. We're going to be featuring my man Docs. That's Docs on the Rocks, the outcast of the podcast. Guys, what are you doing? Buy a freaking shirt. That's www.prowrestlingtees.com/inyourhouse. Get this work. Get this shirt. And guys, we tell you this all the time. Hop on this bandwagon. Get on. Or get gone. Because the household, well, we still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day. A great weekend. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Practice social distancing. And, guys, stay in your house.